Welcome to Strolling Venice, the perfect guide for first time visitors who want to explore Venice with confidence and joy. Imagine this is your first time visiting Venice. You plan 4 or 5 days, just enough time to wander the canals, cross endless bridges, and fall in love with the rhythm of the city. But somewhere between gondolas and quiet evening walks, a question starts to form. Is there a nearby city worth visiting for just one day? Close enough to reach by train, different enough to feel refreshing, and meaningful enough to live Venice even briefly? This is a question many first time visitors to Venice quietly ask. And today, we're answering it honestly. So stay tuned! At 6:48 in the morning, Venice is still asleep. The streets are empty, the canals are calm, and the city feels like it belongs only to those awake early enough to see its way. And as we step onto the train, I'm reminded of a quote by Saint Augustine that says, "The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page." I know Venice is a beautiful page, but today we're turning it. As the train pulls away, the water slowly disappears and the landscape begins to change. The train ride from Venice to Milan takes just over 2 hours. It's comfortable, easy, and surprisingly stress-free. Still, this is the moment many travelers hesitate. They always ask, is Milan really worth giving up a full day in Venice? Will it feel rushed? Or will it feel like a mistake? Let's see. By 9:15 a.m., we arrive in Milan. Immediately, everything feels different, faster, bigger, and more structured. This isn't a canal city. It's a city of ideas. And welcome to Milan. If you're planning your first trip to Venice, what happens later today might help you decide whether a Milan day trip truly adds value or if staying in Venice is better. Instead of heading straight to the Duomo Cathedral, we start the day with something intentional. Using a one-day public transport pass, we go directly to the Leonardo Da Vinci National Museum of Science and Technology. For us, this choice matters, especially traveling with my son. Walking into the Leonardo da Vinci National Museum of Science and Technology feels different from entering a typical museum. This isn't a place where you rush from room to room, reading plaques and moving on. It's a place that invites you to pause, look closely, and imagine. On the ground floor, you'll see ancient machines that people used long ago to build, create, and solve everyday problems. Before computers look like the ones we use today, this was the control room of the future. This is the Sypnotic Panel from 1985. Engineers use it to watch energy travel across Italy like a giant map full of blinking lights. Every button and signal help keep homes warm and cities running safely. It may look quiet now, but once this machine was watching over the whole country. The museum is fully interactive, and my son loved exploring every corner, touching, watching, and discovering how everything works made it feel like more than a museum. It was as if we had been transported into another world, one filled with inventions, machines, and endless curiosity.
Like ramen. Chinese food actually looks good, except for the soup.
For curious travelers, and especially for children, this museum turns ideas into something tangible. Here, Leonardo da Vinci isn't presented as a distant historical figure. He feels like an inventor you're discovering alongside your child. You see his original sketches brought to life. Machines designed centuries ago that still feel bold, curious, and experimental. Flying devices, mechanical systems, early ideas that laid the groundwork for modern engineering. And for children, this is where history stops being abstract. They don't just learn that Leonardo was brilliant, they see how his mind worked. You will see and find a powerful version of the Last Supper. This is not Leonardo's original, but a fresco painted in the early 1600s by Giovanni Mauro Della Rovere. Of course, it was inspired by Leonardo's masterpiece nearby. The artwork once belonged to a monastery dining hall where monks ate beneath this sacred scene, and today it stands as a reminder of Leonardo's lasting influence, connecting art, science, and history in one place. Beyond Leonardo's work, the museum opens into entire worlds of science and technology. Full-scale submarines you can stand beside, aircraft that make you look up and wonder how humans first learned to fly, exhibits that quietly explain complex ideas without overwhelming, and there's something powerful about watching a child connect the dots. How invention leads to progress, how curiosity becomes knowledge, and how ideas from the past shape the world we live in today. This museum rewards question, not just from children, but from adults too. What makes this museum especially valuable for families is its balance. It's educational without feeling heavy, inspiring without being intimidating, and spacious enough to explore at your own rhythm. Children aren't asked to be silent observers here. They're encouraged to engage, to point, to ask why. And for parents, it offers something rare, a place where learning feels like shared discovery rather than instruction. Spending 2 hours here doesn't feel long, it just feels right. On a tight one-day Milan itinerary, every stop needs to earn its place, and this museum does exactly that. It offers something Venice cannot, a deep dive into invention, science, and forward-thinking ideas. And in the context of a short trip, it sets the tone for the entire day. Curious, intentional, and meaningful. As Leonardo himself once said, learning never exhausts the mind. Standing here, watching curiosity unfold, you understand exactly what he meant. And I recommend you, if you ever go to Milan, to just go and visit this museum. And it's worth every minute. After 2 unhurried hours, we step back into Milan, not rushed, not tired, but inspired. And only then do we head toward the Duomo, ready for the next chapter of the day. Before we continue, a quick moment. If you're enjoying this slower way of traveling and planning, and this video is helping you imagine your own first trip to Venice and beyond, I'd love for you to subscribe to Strolling Venice and share this video with someone who's planning a visit. It really helps the channel grow and it allows me to keep creating calm, thoughtful walks and guides like this, especially for first-time visitors like you. Now, let's continue toward the heart of Milan. At this point, I wondered if we'd already seen the best part of Milan, but what happened next is standing in front of the Duomo changed how I felt about this entire day trip. By midday, we reached the center of Milan, the Duomo di Milano. Its white marble facade feels almost unreal, especially when seen for the first time. And here we meet our friends. We took photos, laughing and letting the moment settle. And this part of Milan feels social. It's open and alive. And we stopped for lunch nearby, unhurried, and watching the square move around us. And afterward, we walked through the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II. And it's so amazing to see its glass ceiling, historic cafes, and elegant symmetry. And it's December 28th, so the tradition of spinning on the ball and making a wish is still available. However, we had to wait for long hours. But still, the space feels timeless. As the afternoon light begins to change, my son says something later that surprises me, and I will surely share it with you before we return to Venice tonight, so stay until the end of the video. One of the highlights of our day was planned in advance. We booked Duomo rooftop access through Get Your Guide, and for a one-day Milan itinerary, this makes all the difference. Instead of taking the elevator, we chose the staircase to reach the rooftop of the Duomo. Step by step, the space narrows, stone walls surround you, the light shifts as you climb, growing softer and more distant. You feel the age of the building here, not just see it. And every stair carries centuries of footsteps, leading upward through a cathedral that took nearly 600 years to complete. And for your information, the construction of the Duomo di Milano began in 1386, shaped over generations by architects, sculptors, and craftsmen, all working toward a single enduring vision. And the final works were completed in 1965. At the top, the cathedral opens itself slowly. You're suddenly surrounded by spire after spire, 135 in total, each carved from pale marble and crowned with statues. This is Gothic architecture at its most intricate. But unlike most cathedrals, here you don't only admire it from below, you walk within it. And the marble beneath your feet glows softly in the light, and Milan stretches out quietly beyond the spires. One of the most unexpected moments happens here. From the rooftop, you're given rare views down into the cathedral itself, through openings and windows that reveal the vast interior below. You glimpse soaring columns, filtered light, and the immense scale of the space from a completely new perspective. It's a reminder of how carefully this building was designed, not just to impress from the outside, but to inspire from every angle. And seeing the cathedral from above and within at the same time adds a deeper layer to the experience, one that many visitors never notice. Up here, Milan feels quieter. The city noise fades, the rush disappears. You're standing among the statues that were never meant to be admired closely. Faces carved with care, placed here not for crowds, but for faith and devotion. It's humbling, and you realize this wasn't built for convenience or speed. It was built for permanence. And the staircase makes you earn the view, and because of that, the view stays with you. When we finally walk back down and meet our friends again below, the city feels different, more grounded and more present. Some places don't reveal themselves all at once. They ask you to climb, to slow down, and to look closer. And the Duomo rewards you for doing exactly that. After coming back down, we meet our friends, just like I said, and once more, take a slow walk through Milan's shopping district. No checklist, no pressure. As the afternoon begins to fade, we make one last stop before heading to the train station back to Venice. The city slows again, the streets widen, and the Sforza Castle comes quietly into view. Built in the 15th century, this vast fortress once protected Milan and later became the residence of the powerful Sforza family, who shaped the city during the Renaissance. Its red brick walls feel solid and grounded, a striking contrast to the white marble of the Duomo. What I love about this moment is that it doesn't feel rushed or dramatic. The castle simply exists, open, steady, and woven into everyday Milan. Behind these walls are museums, courtyards, and even traces of Leonardo da Vinci, who once worked here for the Sforza court. Even without going inside, standing here alone feels like a quiet pause, a reminder that Milan is layered, resilient, and deeply historical. And with that, our day begins to close. From here, we walk toward the station, carrying with us a different rhythm and the feeling that this one-day journey was the perfect contrast before returning to Venice. And as evening falls, we return to the station. And by 10 p.m., we're back in Venice. Not tired, but inspired and quietly reflective. This is when my son says, Milan was a nice break from all the boats in Venice, and suddenly everything makes sense. So is Milan worth a one-day trip from Venice? For us, absolutely. We had a blast. Milan didn't replace Venice, it refreshed us. And as we settle back into the familiar rhythm of canals and stone, one final thought stays with me. One's destination is never a place, but a new way of seeing things. Sometimes, one day is all it takes to see a city and a journey differently.
If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment with your Venice travel questions. See you in the next video. Ciao!